Tor, get out of the tavern. You are too big. I understand you used to be a hammer. You're not a hammer anymore. Thank you. Thank you. I understand he's fluid. That does not mean he fits everywhere. Okay. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Tavern of Tomes. My name is RK Fox, and I am your tavern keeper. I am joined today by my fellow storytellers, Kent Aldrich and Christian Maevsky. And together we are going to weave a world of myth and legend. You see, the walls of my tavern are lined with leather-bound books filled with blank pages. Once a week here at the tavern, we open a tome at dusk and fill its pages with stories. The world outside is dark and scary. It has its beauties, but they're hard to see at night. So for the time being, let's leave this world and go adventure, shall we? So we are picking up, normally I'd say last where we left off, but we're in separate teams now. So there is no, you guys don't get to know what they did. That's a secret.
Well, unless we roll well.
Unless you roll well, but technically...
And happen to hit where they are.
Yes, that's also... Yes, so this is the hard part about the game.
Wouldn't it be great if they were, like, merchants who have nothing to do with any part of what we're doing? And,
it would be so funny.
Just play two completely separate games.
I mean, that happened in the last...
That will happen with this system.
In the original version of playing the system, when I was playing a game with Sam and my DM, we played for, I want to say, a couple games before they found each other. And then obviously they didn't care about anything else. But before they found each other, it took a while. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys now. We're continuing. We are going to start with, you guys have, because you rolled with intelligence, you have 2 epistolary phases. You each get a rumor phase. You each get a discovery phase. But first, we're going to start with just some character introductions. Specifically, we are going to drop into the scene where Christian, your character, has been at sea for months now. I don't know how you handle traveling at sea.
Not well.
I was going to say, I imagine Ky'Zak is a little sick.
Very, very, not used... I feel like the thing that would frustrate Ky'Zak the most would be how slow it is.
Yes.
Because I feel... Especially with him being the champion of technology for so many years at Arcanaut, I feel like he's more used to, like, just teleportation circles.
Yes, yeah, well, because that's Arcanaut's primary form of transportation is they've got, it's like bus stops, the number of teleportation circles they have. It's...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So this has been grueling for you.
Yep. So I feel like I'm pretty grumpy stepping off the ship.
Yes, yeah, you walk down the gangplank, and already waiting for you is Kent's character. Kent, you've been tasked to sort of oversee Ky'Zak's travels. Would you go ahead, please, and describe your characters to each other? And Christian, while people may have heard of your character before, if they listened to our previous show, Moody and D, which you absolutely
Which
should
they definitely should.
Yes, go and watch that. Go listen to it. Even if you've heard of it, it's been 30 years. So it's been a while since we've seen the wonderful Ky'Zak. So if you would, go ahead, describe what Ky'Zak looks like now, and then we'll follow it up with Kent's character and his name.
Yeah. So Ky'Zak is, at this point, like a 50-something-year-old lizard folk. I don't... In my mind, I can't conceive of, like, what an old lizard looks like.
I mean,
because
the scales are graying around the eyes. The skin is sagging. The scales also begin to be a little translucent. Like there are leftover. Like there are points where you're like, this guy should have shed his scales 3 years ago.
Yep, but he hasn't.
Yeah, a little hunched over.
Definitely hunched over, which... Yeah, because, like, people kind of shrink slightly as they get older, so I feel like his 6-foot-something broad posture has kind of shrunken a little bit. He's a lot more conceived. I feel like he walks around, probably not with a cane, but definitely with some like some kind of arcano-technological advancement in like his legs to help him support himself a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you have just like a frame basically on each of your legs, sort of acting to push
And probably
against
also on
you.
like on the spine.
Yeah, sort of helping resist that hunch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, off the boat, you see just this older lizard folk, who's feel like a lot of the crew would be walking around him in circles. Because either he has talked their ear off, or he is so grumpy that nobody wants to talk to him.
Yes, yeah, there's a perimeter.
There's a perimeter around him, especially for the crew that just spent like months on a ship with him.
There is one like young satyr girl who is like very concerned about your well-being.
Yeah, and I feel like especially for the younger folk, he would be a lot more patient with them.
Yeah.
And a lot more kind. When you look at him, think old Republican. That's kind of the that's kind of the image that's in my mind. Very grumpy, very old, kind of cares about what's going on, but like and at least in your vetting about the person of Ky'Zak, about the person of the champion of technology, you would hear that he is a very non-violent, very stout, very like peace-keeping person. Even like his advancements in technology in Arcanaut were always brought along with like a lot of restrictions on how it works, who can actually use it, and stuff like that. And I don't know what the dress would look like. I feel like it would be very official, kind of marking him as the champion of technology. Very much a shadow of Ky'Zak the Wunderkind that he was when he first stepped into Arcanaut, and more like this older, very calculating individual who was just trying to kind of fulfill the dream of his youth, right?
He is a lived man, I would say.
He is a lived man. He is a lived and worn man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who does he see awaiting him on the dock? Aside, obviously, a couple of Throneguard just around to, help escort to the capital and all that.
Right. Well, first, what would, like, the height of social fashion be at this exact moment in it involved?
What do you mean by social fashion?
What would somebody who is high society be wearing?
Oh,
are they wearing like? Yeah,
you would be wearing sort of like I don't know if you've ever watched the show Arcane.
Oh yes, yeah.
It is generically like form-fitting, like metallic accents on the seams to cover them up. It is very clean, very like almost like if you were to take traditional like formal wear that we have in like real life America and blend that with sort of like the high fantasy, like everything is bright and colorful. It's like these like neutral tones with like one really strong standout color alongside some metallic like accents in the fabric. That's sort of what is of your like high society strong fashion.
Right. Okay, cool. And does Helix Corp have a specific color attached to it?
Helix Corp is I would say they tie very strongly with like a like blue and green. Ironically, very heavily mimicking Magic the Gathering's Simic, both in their nature and in their coloring.
Interesting. Cool. So Helix Corp is very Simic?
Yes, they're biotechnicians.
Oh yeah, I forget about that.
Yeah.
Walking off the gangplank, you will see a relatively average height halfling who is standing there. He has a blue, like a somewhere in between like dark and light, like that weird in between space for blue, double-breasted coat with a green sash across it, with the metal accents that Reese described, and is standing there. He has two guards who are behind him, so very clearly is the leader, and behind him is a carriage that is. Or actually, sorry, 3 carriages waiting for us, and yeah.
I would also
very
say
open and happy posture.
yes, yeah, yeah, and it's the carriages are somewhere in between, yes, they're made of wood, but there are so many metallic accents and there's so much filigree, in not a very fanciful way, but in a stately way. Where you're like, okay, this is very official, very nice, without being elaborate. It is stately, I think is the best word to describe it.
I feel like the way that I'm imagining the way that Ky'Zak looks is very white, long robes that kind of are not very form-fitting, just to not show his decrepitness. And with a lot of, I feel gold and purple. I don't know why, but for some reason purple is kind of the color of the champion of technology. You can correct me on that.
No, that's accurate. It's also one of the more popular colors in Dakaya in general. It's this fairy-ish influence of blues, greens, and purples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the twilight red and oranges are big too, but it's sort of your position is that purple.
Yeah, and I feel, and definitely with him floating around him very slowly, very barely hovering in the air, is a small little sphere, not more than a foot in diameter. No, which one's longer? Diameter?
Diameter. Yeah. Well, if it's a foot in radius, that's 2 feet tall. But if it's a foot in diameter...
diameter. Okay. Diameter. Right. I always get those two confused. Yeah, not more than a foot in diameter is a little silverish sphere, which is a black metal belt around the middle of it. And it's just floating alongside him. Yeah, kind of like a belt.
I love it.
Yeah, so, Reese, what's my official title again?
You are Chief Negotiator of Helix Corp.
Chief Negotiator, yes. Okay, cool. So as you get to the bottom of the gangplank, I will spread my arms and just be like, Champion of Technology, welcome to Enval. I am Alexandre, Helix Corp's Chief Negotiator, and your tour guide for the next little while as you explore the possibilities of aligning yourselves with the Throneguard and using our technological insights to better both of our peoples. I am sure you are tired, and I would love to be able to take you to somewhere to rest before we begin our journey.
Tired does not begin to describe the way that I feel.
So different from the Ky'Zak we knew.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Oh no, that is very French. It is a pleasure to meet you. My dear Chief Negotiator, if I remember correctly, I have heard much about you.
Thank you.
This is my assistant, Shiny.
You see the satyr girl in the background being a little dejected. She is functionally your real assistant.
Yep.
So you guys get in those carriages. You head into the capital of Malkar, and we are going to move.
One thing, just as a generic rule throughout all of our travel, I would like to basically have it so that nobody knows where Ky'Zak is in the carriages. That's the whole point of having 3.
Okay, yes. Yeah, to prevent attacks and things like that. Okay.
Right.
Sure.
They're the exact same, and it's changing all the time and that sort of thing.
Great.
Is the satyr girl actually with me? Was she given by the chamber so that kind of to assist me?
Yes, she was part of that hiding.
Oh, okay.
So she is
more like a nursemaid.
Yes, yeah, she's more there to take care of you, but she is functionally your assistant.
Okay.
She's like
Then I would have introduced her as well.
Yeah. So her name is Delia. Just a young artificer, satyr girl, not even a high enough level to have a subclass yet. Just there as very eager to see what you're working on and to
the kind of NPC that in a real campaign would die very quickly.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. When the world falls apart, these people don't live long.
Yeah, so I feel like as we're traveling around, you would very much notice that Ky'Zak, even though she is taking care of him, he's kind of treating this as a vacation for her, just letting her go out and explore things while we discuss things.
Yes, and she would be absolutely fascinated with everything. But with the conclusion of this scene, we are going to move into section 1. So this is your
first 10 minutes.
Yes, first 10 minutes. Last time, in the last episode, it took 20. So we're going to play this a little fluid.
Okay, cool.
Each of you will get to send 2 letters because you chose intelligence as your initiative roller. And then each of you will get 2. You'll each get a discovery phase and you'll each get a rumor phase. Your time starts. You have a question before I begin?
Yes, question. Does my sending stone count as a letter, or is that something separate?
That is something separate. So I will say, if you're going to use it, hold it for the next section.
Until later.
Yeah,
okay.
Cool.
Do we get separate discovery and rumor phases as well?
Yes.
Okay,
yep.
cool. Just that was a big question for us.
At least right now, you guys don't have very many aligned interests. Maybe later I'll say we're going to condense that. But for now, because you guys are just meeting each other, you're not functioning as a team as we would do normally. We'll have you guys do that separately. But you will do that with the other person still on the call. So
awesome. Thank you.
Your time
Kenty boy. Go ahead.
Now.
Okay,
cool, yes.
Kenty boy, are you taking notes?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you, because I'm not.
I am also taking notes for you guys.
Cool.
Okay, good.
To start off discovery phase, I would like to just get a sense of the attitude from the rest of the Helix, or the rest of the Throneguard from my informants as Ky'Zak has entered the city.
Okay, so you just want to know where the Throneguard stands on this whole thing.
Right, who's going to be a problem, who's not going to pose, are there any open threats, are there any contracts that have been put out to abduct him, basic information.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead and give me a give me a wisdom, perception, or insight check.
I'm going to do insight. That is going to be a 17.
With a 17, nothing that is openly hitting the air right now regarding any negative intentions towards Ky'Zak. With him here, there's a little bit of tension, but really, most of them are just interested in what Ky'Zak can do for them. And so that at least at the moment, all of the Throneguard is aware of this decision. The Throneguard functions as the advisors to the crown holder. And so they advised on this decision to bring Ky'Zak in, to have him present. So it's not like this is a foreign idea to them.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. For my discovery phase, I feel like especially after this travel, the first thing that Ky'Zak will want to do is begin establishing a teleportation circle between Arkanad and Malkar.
Okay, you want to do it in Malkar?
I want it to be in the capital or in the city where the throne holder, the current throne holder is.
You mean the crown holder?
I feel like the crown holder, sorry.
Yes. So that's actually that's in your mission briefing from the champion of travel, Terrence of Insular, has requested that, if possible, to have the teleportation circle in Belbiart, because that's the capital. You didn't meet Alexandre in the capital. You met him in Malkar, which is the nearest port.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
If possible. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the Belbar.
Belbiart.
Belbier. Yeah, so that's gonna be my discovery phase. I want to figure out who do I have to contact, what will be needed, just kind of like beginning the steps to creating this teleportation circle.
Yeah,
so that
for
by
sure.
the time I want to go back to Dakaya, I can just use the teleportation circle.
Yeah, for sure. So first things first, you'll need to. Well, actually, let's start with. Go ahead, give me the wisdom, perception, or insight check.
Yes. So that is a 17.
17.
And you said wisdom, perception, insight, or what?
Wisdom, perception, or wisdom, insight.
I'm going to go with either way, it's a 23.
Okay.
I'm going to go with insight. I'll go with insight.
Okay, sounds good. So that would be, you would have to like use your connection with Alexandre to probably connect with CEO Coralie Auclair Lidril, who is the crown keeper herself. Like you'd have to basically use him, get the connection up to her so that she can approve that being built.
Perfect, because my first epistolary phase was going to be a letter to the CEO.
Okay.
Yeah. So that actually aligns perfectly.
Okay.
The Coralie.
Great. Go ahead then, and whoever wants to, do you guys want to do rumors or epistolary first?
What do you want to do, Kent? I feel like rumors, and then let's do because epistolary will take a long time.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead. Do you have a rumor you want to start?
I don't have a rumor that I want to start, but I don't know if this is possible, so correct me if I'm wrong, Reese, but I want to prevent the starting of a rumor.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I want to prevent any rumors about, like, the Kaya and me in particular to start, or make it more difficult to start rumors about me, so that when people start... Yeah?
Are you trying to basically... Because really the way that you would do that is by spreading a counter rumor.
Okay, that is a good point.
Because you can't start a rumor of a lack of a rumor. You can start a rumor that is the opposite of the one that you fear.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know. Again, we haven't really gone through what Ky'Zak has actually done as the champion of technology and how he even became, got into that role. But I want to spread out a rumor that basically talks about how good this connection between Arcanaud and the Throneguard Concord would actually be, right?
Okay.
And how well established and how well perceived the person of Ky'Zak is in Dakaya as a whole, right? In the High Dakayan Republic.
Yeah, so how good and beneficial a connection to the High Dakayan Republic through the champion of technology would be.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Then Alexandre.
I'm scared of this one.
Yeah, so can you tell me who the most, after Helix Core, who's the most powerful house and the most competitive to Helix Core?
Grim Predation.
Grim Predation.
Okay, Grim Predation, definitively. They are the most, aside from the Mindfall is cutthroat and dark. The Grim Predation is just plain old cutthroat.
Gotcha.
There is nothing else. It's just take whatever you can, bend it to your will, win the crown.
Gotcha. So, is there a group of people, maybe it's one of the other thrones, maybe it's something else, that is a specific threat or concern to Grim Predation?
The threat to Grim Predation... Well, the biggest threat that you could pose to Grim Predation would be eliminating aberrations in LeFou, but that's a little hard to pull off.
Right.
The second biggest...
That'd be a bit difficult.
The second biggest threat to Grim Predation itself would be to basically winnow off their ability to actually control those. So you know that they're Grim Predation. Actually, give me a history check real quick.
Yes. Ooh, that's good. That is going to be a dirty 20.
Okay. You know that Grim Predation is actually, they're hemocrafticians. They are astral wardens, and they specifically bend aberrations to their will using hemocraft. If you can winnow out the effectiveness of hemocraft, you eliminate their effectiveness as a throne guard.
Okay. So I would like to start a rumor that the other cutthroat house,
The Mindfall, got it.
the Mindfall, is attempting to find a way to nullify Hemocraft.
Okay.
Oh.
Great. Nullify. Great. Sounds good. All right, that's rumors. And last is epistolary. What letters are you guys writing?
Oh, you didn't have us roll for rumors.
You don't have to roll for rumors during the rumor phase.
It's later.
Oh, it's during the concealment phase. Okay.
Yeah. Like the only
See,
reason
we're learning by doing. We're learning by doing.
The only reason I would ever have you roll for a rumor during the rumor phase is if it's like, oh, this rumor will naturally take off on its own and I just need to see how effectively it will do so. Those rumors are like kind of toss-ups, and so they just sort of enter the world of rumors.
Okay, cool.
Who wants to write a letter first?
I will write one.
Okay. To who?
I would like to write a letter to Jean-Christophe.
Okay.
And who's my direct report at the manager of acquisitions.
Yes, yes.
I would. So this letter is going to be double-sided. I am going to write it and send it. The content of the letter is going to express concern about our ability to seal a contract with Ky'Zak and fear that he may, if he does not see results, either leave or go to a different corporation.
Okay.
And the actual letter is going to say the exact opposite of that because I want it to be encoded.
Okay. So what is the exact opposite that you are trying to...
So basically that Alexandre is confident that Ky'Zak and him will be able to work together. And it seems like this is going well.
Great. Sounds good. Jean-Christophe will just send back a letter basically thanking you for your work. You'll get like $2,000 gold or 2,000 gold bonus with it. Just some quick spending cash. And we'll also remind you about the introduction of the Hexalite implants and sort of their usefulness as they have sort of begun to enter the world. And we'll offer to send a Hexalite technician out to give you a Hexalite implant should you so desire it to aid future communication with great speed. So.
Okay. Okay, cool. Christian, do you have a letter? I've got to think of another one.
Yeah, I have a letter. The one to Coralie. The one to the CEO, Coralie, just talking about like probably more of a letter of introduction.
Yeah.
Because Ky'Zak, just thinking of who she is, doesn't want to just burst down her office doors and being like, "Here I am." More like sending forth a letter of introduction, probably through the channels of Alexandre. It's just being like, "Hi. Here's who I am. Here's what I have accomplished.
Yeah.
Here is thank you for like having me here. Probably some kind of small gift
Okay.
would be included in the letter.
Yeah. Some
Nothing
piece
too
of
fancy.
new arcanotech within Takaya.
Something like that. Maybe like a small blueprint for some like, what do you call that? Like a little knickknack, like a trinket.
Yeah.
That maybe they don't have around here.
Yeah,
maybe,
for sure.
Even like the dried up flower from Dakaya, something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then within that same letter, still not beginning to, but just being like, you have such a lovely place here that I would love to be more connected with it, kind of beginning that talk about the teleportation circle.
Yeah, for sure.
Not outright asking for it.
Yes, 100%. You get back a letter confirming, like thanking you for taking that initiative and sending that communication directly to her. Very grateful for the gift. Has mentions of like, I already know where I'm going to put this in my office. And sends back to you just a little just like note at the end about, we would love to establish some more permanent lasting connections with the Dakayan Republic. So yeah.
Awesome.
Who else wants to write a letter?
Yeah. So
if you don't have one, I have a second letter.
Okay, I have a question. So we're in Malkar.
You're in Malkar right now. Yes.
The next city we're going to travel to is the one that starts with an A and has the stupid AUX that French does that doesn't sound like any of that.
Aleno is not in the Throneguard Concord.
No, Aleno is the Throne of the Scion.
Yeah. Are you...
It's Domitia.
No, I'm looking at Enval. The AVITE.
Oh,
AUX.
Avito.
That one, yeah.
That one.
Yeah, you could go to Avito. You could also go north to Dragonzu. You could go to any of these cities. The only thing that you've been given by your superiors is don't go to Belbiard first.
Right.
So.
Cool. So... Interesting. Which way do we want to go is the question.
You also need to make a stop while you're in Malkar to, actually meet with and get a tour of... Because actually, if I'm not mistaken, Avito is the only one that doesn't have
it doesn't.
If I remember correctly. Yeah, only major city that's not home to one of the thrones.
Oh, that makes my life so much easier for the I was trying to figure out a way to do the tour without backtracking.
Yeah, your tour is best to go basically up, around, and in.
Yeah, so I was going to save the tour for the
that's going to be in your main time. But
right, the main phase. I'll send a letter to whatever.
The CEO of Dragonzu is home of Grim Predation.
I was actually going to send a letter to one of my agents there, again encoded.
Okay.
And basically asking him to prepare for us so that he is activating, just gathering information, making sure it's going to be safe, that sort of thing, so that when I come, I can get information from him that is going to be a little bit more prepared. He's had a couple of weeks to actually, insert some people into organizations, ask some questions, bribe some people, that sort of thing. So, and maybe I'll send him 1,000 gold to aid in that. Espionage. Well, not espionage, because he's not sabotaging anything, but spying.
Okay, what, spying on what specifically? On Grim Predation as a whole?
Just Grim Predation and their movements in the city. Obviously, I know they are our greatest threat, and so just making sure that it is going to be safe being there.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably, of the towns, I think Alexandre is probably the most worried about that one. just because Grim Predation does want the throne, and they will do, or the crown, and they will do whatever it takes to get it. Whereas the others have a bit of a journey to make there anyways.
All of them want the crown. For clarification's sake, there's not anybody that's not competing with you. They just all have a.
They're our strongest competitors.
Yes, they are your strongest competitors at the moment. Yes, 100%. Yeah, they give confirmation they will do that, begin to get information about Grim Predation, any recent movements, stuff like that.
Cool. And do you want me to roll for encoding that, or is that just a given?
Yeah, that's a given.
Cool.
And then, Ky'Zak, your last letter.
My second letter will also be to Coralie.
You're just going to follow up? Okay.
Yep, I'm going to follow up on the letter that she sent. Basically, because what did she say? She
just expressed desire in establishing more permanent connections.
Yeah. Basically, because how long is our tour going to last?
Your tour is probably going to last the whole year. You could probably do it in 6 months if you wanted, and then spend the remaining 6 months doing like some more like short term, like just burst out to different cities and locations. But you're probably looking at the whole year.
Okay. Because one of the things that I want to do is, again, frequently go back to Dakaya just to kind of sit down with the chamber and talk about what is going on and just getting their opinions on things as well.
Yeah, for sure. This is why you were given the Sending Stone.
Okay.
Was for day-to-day communication so that you can send things. Obviously, you can't do like long communication with that, but long communication is for what those teleportation scrolls are for.
Okay, cool. Then I guess in my second letter to Coralie, do I want to send her the scroll of teleportation?
Why would you send her the scroll of teleportation?
To start establishing the circle in Belbier.
You do not want to establish that circle. That circle, the circle that is on that teleportation scroll, is directly into the High Dakayan Chamber's main chamber.
Oh, okay. I thought it was to Dakaya.
No, that's
it is specifically to the chamber.
Yes, it's that's specific teleportation circle.
Top of the government.
No, what you want to do, Ky'Zak, is you want to draw two. You want to draw one new circle, brand new circle, has not been used before, and make a new circle in both locations.
That makes so much more sense. Okay, cool. Then I guess the second letter will just be kind of like a very cordial. Yes, I am looking forward to establishing those connections. I've already been maybe even like sending a couple of sketches of some teleportation circles and some other things, just being like, I've already been working on this. I'm really looking forward to meeting you at the end of my tour. Your not negotiator, your representative has been very cordial and very kind to me, and I appreciate that a lot.
Right.
And I am looking forward to hearing and seeing from you further.
Yes, 100%.
Something like that.
Okay, you will get a response from Coralie basically saying, we love the idea of establishing a teleportation circle. We would also love to lock in some more permanent contracts, peace treaties, things like that before we begin such a permanent decision, permanent choice. We would love for you to begin some work with our chief negotiator on what such decisions and paperwork might look like.
Okay, cool. Just because, I misunderstood the mission briefing.
Yeah.
It says periodically return, and to me that was like, oh, they want me to return like once every 2 months.
No, they gave you 2 round trips.
Yep, gave you 2 round trips. I'm pushing for this teleportation circle. I guess I guess these letters would be a little more spaced apart.
Yeah, no,
than I thought
100%.
originally.
These are spaced apart by nature. This is not like all of this happens at the beginning of the time. It's just all of this happens across the time, no rolls needed.
Okay, awesome. So those would be my letters.
Yes, great. All right, in that case, we are good to move into the rest of your 3 months.
Oh yeah, Kent had his second letter. Never mind.
Yep.
10, 11, 12, 13.
So I'll toss that to you guys. We have 18 minutes left. So what would you like to do with your 3 months?
Yes. Obviously take Ky'Zak on a tour of who is based in this city. Which
Malkar is Psionic DevCo.
Okay. So yeah, take him on a tour. Obviously, I have my writ. So,
Yep.
yes, show him there. Sit him down with whoever would like to join, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and talk about.
The CEO will come out, say hi to you. Give me just a half second to pull up exactly who the CEO is. CEO of Psionic DevCo, Pierre-Antoine Clerico. He is a male Genserai scholar. He is a mystic. He comes out just sort of floating. You can see he lands, but his legs sort of are working to keep him upright. You can tell he does not spend a lot of time on the ground. Very old, wizened man. Who just shakes your hand. It is a pleasure to have you in our headquarters here in Malkar. Such a blessing. Yeah, and you.
It is wonderful to be here.
Feel free to take a look around, see our research and development wing. See some of the new products we are working on. It would be just a delight.
So this is Malkar. So which Concord is this?
This is Psionic Dev Inc. This is the primarily psionics based throne. They are more in the realm of Arcana Tech.
Okay, cool.
So primarily they are mystics. They are like their version of Arcana Tech is discover the most amount of information about the weave, and to use that information to develop basically mechanized psionics stuff. So.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so Ky'Zak would basically just be like, "Oh yes, it is wonderful to be here. I've actually already been sketching up some prototypes for psionic enhancers," and just basically start like a conversation with him and just being like,
okay.
where can I see what you guys have been working on? Have you tried tapping into the brain? Have you tried bringing up the potential of the brain so that people can actually like use the full 100% of what they can do?
You are connected with their head of research and development, Eloise Mallet, who is a female Genziaki. She's a Psi warrior fighter, so she's a little bit looser connected to the field of psionics. That is the wrong one. This is, Male Genserai Demion Devlele, their head of R&D. Also a mystic. His primary thing, what they are doing, is they are creating artificial psionics using basically like long-form computer work. Which is sort of like, if you think about like Bitcoin mining, think of something that is like, they're mining for the crown. Is like sort of what their technology is. And like, obviously they've got like side purposes where they've created like base level, like not full computers because they don't need screens. Everything they do is psionic. And so that's like sort of what they're working on.
And so probably most of the time in Malkar I would spend with Damien, you said?
Okay,
Damien.
yes, Damien.
And just like trying to figure out how maybe we can use their psionics to put them into the brains of just normal people. Kind of like a microchip in the brain.
So as soon as you say that, there's a little bit of like a hesitancy.
Okay.
You know immediately in that moment that Ky'Zak's low charisma has caught up with him. You've sort of stepped in it. What you have stepped in is that is Helix Corp's territory.
Ah.
And after that meeting, I will I will sit down with Ky'Zak at the very, very nice tavern that we are staying at.
Yes.
And explain to him Helix Corp's research on the arcanotech in the brain and all of the things that Helix Corp is doing.
And Ky'Zak, with his very low charisma, will go, yeah, but these guys are already doing it. Why not use their research to aid your research?
Well, you see, their research is good, but I promise you, when we get to Belviard, you will see why we have not been using their research, as our researchers are best in the nation.
Yeah. And so I feel like this is going to be the first indicator for Ky'Zak that the Throne Concord doesn't work the same way as the Chamber.
No. Yeah. It is. You can tell it's not overarchingly collaborative. It is. Yeah. It is competitive. This is a competitive corporatocracy.
And so as we're traveling for the next 3 months, the entire time I will kind of keep in the back of my mind, remembering what the, I believe it was the champion of law, what he tasked me with, and just kind of figuring out, okay, so if they are competitors, how will that competition have possible bad ramification on our connection with them?
Yes.
Right? And so just kind of, as much as Ky'Zak is a very straightforward man who doesn't like deception, he will try to find this information as concealedly as possible.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Would you like to go ahead and give me a perception check, just as you're sort of working your way around the nation, trying to figure out?
At 20.
Yo.
To a total of 26.
So you're looking specifically for, where are the places where their competitiveness can go wrong?
Exactly. Identifying potential risks.
Yeah.
In their communication with each other that can have a bad ramification on the contract in future further, diplomatic treaties. So
immediately you're like, okay, this contract cannot be made with Helix Corp. It needs to be made with the Throneguard Concord. Like all these small technical things where you're like, right now Helix Corp has a strong hold. If they lose it, we need to make sure our contract still stands. You know, we need to make sure that we have signatures not from the crown, but from every member of the Concord, from every company, that this holds up, things like that. I want to pop over to Alexandre now. We have 9 minutes left. What would you like to be doing with your 3 months?
So, first, when we go to Psionic's place, how much of what I heard there was information I didn't already know? Were they actually sharing anything, or was it
they were not sharing anything around you that you didn't already know. You don't know if they said any, you don't think there was any time that you had away from Ky'Zak, but you also know that they're psionic. You don't know if there was any telepathy stuff going on, where information might have been shared, or minds might have been altered and memories might have been shifted. So, there's an immediate suspiciousness where you're like, maybe something happened. It didn't seem like they overshared. It didn't seem like they were fully honest about what their R&D might have been doing.
Right. Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yes.
The other thing I want to do is insight check Ky'Zak and see how he is perceiving of this so far.
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
That is going to be a 23.
Okay. Ky'Zak, would you like to give a deception, persuasion check, etc.? Whatever.
I rolled a natural 12 to a total of 10.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't think that it's deception. I think it's more like a persuasion check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But I can probably gauge that you're concerned about the infighting, things like that.
You can definitely gauge that the infighting is not even concerning, but almost kind of disheartening and a bit disgusting to Ky'Zak. Because it's like, you are supposed to be allies. You are supposed to be working together, not fighting against each other. And it's kind of it leaves a very bad taste in his mouth. And he tries to cover it up, but he doesn't very well.
Not very good at it. Yep. Cool.
Yes.
I will say for the rest of this 3 months, Alexander is going to do his best to not do his best to couch it in such a way that it is not outright competition, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Or rather,
soften that a little bit.
reframe it around like the companies are advisors to the crown. The crown is like
Right, yeah. Talking about how they all work, like how all of the thrones voted to have him come here.
Yes. Like it's not, there's not infighting, there's constant competition. And that's
Right,
like
who drives us to be better.
And for Ky'Zak, that is not a line.
Yeah.
There's not a line there. There's not a distinction there. It's just like if you're competing, you're infighting. So
and you're trying to sell it the other direction and like sort of shift that pitch to be like, no, this is a beneficial thing that has driven our society forward.
Can I ask Kent for a persuasion check?
Yeah, you can ask for.
Yeah. Where are you? There you are. 29.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm not even gonna try rolling anything.
Fair enough.
Expertise, baby.
You're pretty convincing. Like, kind of helping Ky'Zak understand that conflict isn't always bad.
Yeah, right. And I'll do, especially because I know kind of Ky'Zak's brain, I will focus a lot on showing him how the competition has actually pushed the different corporations to make advances in ways they never would have without the competition, right? Without being worried, will they outstrip us here? And so then they push harder and they end up inventing something they never would have if they hadn't, and kind of explaining a lot of that. Focusing a lot on Helix Corp, of course, but bringing in other corporations here or there.
All right.
The other thing I want to do really quick, very carefully, and no aggressive intent here. He said that his assistant is going out into the town a lot. She will always be followed. One for her protection. She doesn't.
Yes.
Like, I will say that she has a guard from Helix Corps that goes with her, just because she's in a foreign city.
Yeah, one of the.
There will also be at least 2 people that she doesn't see who are with her at all times, just to make sure that no messages are being passed. She's not being used. She's not betraying Ky'Zak, sort of thing.
I will also say that Ky'Zak, when he sends her out, she always has money on her. She always has a sending stone to him. And you see that when she splits off, Shiny kind of like opens up a little chamber inside of him, and a smaller version of Shiny comes out and just follows her around.
Let's go.
Yep. And that one is like full of energy, right?
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Are you guys going to try and hit another... are you going to try and get up to Dragon's in this 3 months as well?
I think we'll take it slow. We'll spend, I would say, a month and a half here, and then we'll Ky'Zak's old. I don't want to overtax him.
Okay.
We'll take a leisurely journey up, and we'll stop in Albercourt. Yeah, that. And then, bounce across the islands over to Dragon's Year.
Sounds good.
You will notice very quickly that a slower pace of travel does not... Ky'Zak doesn't like that. When it comes to traveling, he's like stirring you on.
Okay.
It's like, when are we going to get to the next place?
We're blitzing. We're going.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. So I will say that you guys get the Dragon's I think the adjustments to pacing happen sort of towards the end of this time because we have 3 minutes left. But I will say you guys get to Dragon's You will not have time to basically get your meeting in with the CEO of Grim Predation quite yet, but you can land that as basically the first thing that happens in your next round.
Cool.
Okay, awesome.
Last thing from me. I send a message to Coralie probably before we leave Malkar.
Okay, you send a message to Coralie.
Coralie.
Is this a letter or is this on a sending stone?
Sending stone.
Okay.
Negotiations are going well. I counted all the words.
Okay.
Negotiations are going well. Ky'Zak seems receptive to our offers and excited to form strong bonds with us. Mindfall rumor about Grim Pred was me.
Okay, great. She sends back a message. Let me think through how I want to phrase this message. Glad to hear your observations match his communications. Be wary of the rumor. May drive Mindfall to work harder, or may drive Grim Predation to work harder to counteract beforehand. So that's what you get, is basically just be wary of what that rumor is going to do, because it's going to set them on edge ahead of time. So
Okay. I will just very quickly. I will also send a message through my sending stone to the champion of law, basically saying negotiations going well. Concerned about conflict amongst Throneguard, looking into it.
Okay.
They are kind and polite. Dahlia is having a good time.
Sorry, say the Delia.
Delia.
Okay. Kind, polite. Got it. Cool. Say the beginning part again.
The beginning part is basically beginning negotiations going well. Worried about conflict among Throneguard, looking into it.
Okay, great. You get back. That's keyed to individual members. It doesn't do every single one of them. Who do you send that to?
I am sending it specifically to the champion of law.
Okay, to Tao.
To Tazian, yeah.
Okay.
To Tao.
You get back. Right. Take it slow. Don't make your investigations obvious. We want them to be operating from a place of trust. Assume the better of them before you get critical. And then he'll end the message.
Okay, cool. It's a sending stone, so I'm guessing I can't send anything back, right?
You cannot send another thing back.
Yeah. So Ky'Zak is just gonna look at the stone, and he's like, "Has he spent any time with me? Deception is not what I do."
Yep. And that'll be the end of your first 3 months. So I need from you guys what your concealment is going to be, if anything. I've had players who will play this as like, I'm going to be an open book. There's nothing to conceal. I've had players who are like, I'm concealing everything. So, what, if anything, would you guys like to hide? You get up to 3 each.
I'm going to conceal that I started the rumor.
Okay. Go ahead and give me... go ahead and give me we'll call that, you can give me a dexterity stealth or persuasion or charisma stealth.
I will go with charisma, and let right now. That is a 25.
Okay. Anything else?
For me personally, I want to. That's the thing. I don't know if I want to conceal the fact that I started the rumor about, because I don't feel like I'm starting a rumor. I'm just talking about what I've done and what the Kind Republic has done because of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really think I have anything to conceal so far. Outside of maybe me looking into the Throneguard Concord.
Okay.
But even that, it's not like, again, it's not like I'm deceptively gathering information. It's more like, okay, there's a concern. I want to look into this concern.
Great. Yeah. In that case, you don't need to conceal anything. Kent, question for you. Do you want to conceal the additional people you're sending out to follow Delia?
I will tell Ky'Zak that they're there.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'll be honest, right? Like, that I obviously we're sending a uniformed guard with her, but sometimes people who are not seen are the better protectors, and yeah, he'll know that they're there.
Okay, great. In that case, I believe we are good
and
to...
I will explain to Ky'Zak that assassins are not unheard of in Enval, and so, like, it's just better. We wouldn't want her getting kidnapped because of her connection to him, sort of thing.
For sure.
Okay.
In that case, I think we're good to end this episode here. I do want to take a moment. Anything people want to plug? I forgot to do this last episode, but I want to do it for you guys at least. Anything you want to plug?
For me, hopefully by the time this airs, it's going to be up and running. My YouTube channel, Flightless Birds. Just go and check it out. And I also stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Saturday. Flightless Birds Twitch. Come check me out. Come hang out on the stream. I'd love to have you.
Kent, anything from you?
Nothing. I have no life.
Yeah, fair enough.
He reads books.
I read books.
And the only thing I have to plug is this giant project that I'm doing right now. So, thank you all for joining us. You are always welcome at the tavern, and come back next week, because this story's not over yet. We love you all. Good night.
Have a good night.